My journey with literacy started very young. Both of my parents are avid readers, and they were sure to instill that love of reading in both my little sister and I. Every night before bed, either my mom or my dad would read to us. When we were really young, the stories were simple and wholesome. Titles that I'm sure most of us know. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss, Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak, and various Dora the Explorer-themed books. Later on, I began to read on my own. I was reading so much and so quickly that my mom would often drive me to the library multiple times a week, just so I could pick out new books to read. Even though my sister and I were both becoming well-established readers, my dad would still read to us before bed. Only now, he chose books that he remembered reading when he was young, books that he still loved. He made sure that one of the first books that he read to us was Tolkien's The Hobbit. He also read us the entire Harry Potter series, as well as Call of the Wild, White Fang, and many others. These books were so magical and so insightful, and they allowed my fascination with reading to grow even stronger. Although my journey with literacy started very young and included countless titles and authors, there was one specific book that I feel truly impacted the way that I interacted with and continue to interact with reading. That book is called Coraline and was written by Neil Gaiman. It all started when I picked up a copy of the literature from my tiny local library. The story's protagonist, Coraline, was only a few years older than I was at the time. She was independent, curious, and quiet. She liked to explore, and she found adventure everywhere. I felt like I had just met a new best friend. That book went with me everywhere. I read it over and over and over again. I watched the movie adaptation, and I even dressed up as Coraline for Halloween one year. The book also features beautifully eerie illustrations by Dave McKean. These images terrified me when I first read the book, and yet I was irrevocably drawn to them. It wasn't until later on in high school, when I began to take college art classes, that I realized just how important those images were to my entire interpretation of the story, and just how powerful art can be as an aid when consuming any type of literacy, although especially reading. Now, as I am beginning the early stages of becoming an art educator, I am looking back on my journey with reading, and especially with Coraline. I am incredibly grateful to have this love for reading and for art. Although I may have already had that love for reading before I read Coraline, I feel like that particular book ensured that the love I had wouldn't fade away as I grew older, and it taught me just how closely related art and literature can be.